Alright. Good afternoon. This video documentation is with regards to bench testing and properly connecting all the Xenon HID components on the E36 headlight. As you can see, this E36 headlight is just like the one that you've purchased. It has an H7 housing and it has Xenon installed or about to be installed right now. And so basically I'm going to walk you through how to properly hook up the headlight and make sure that all polarity is correct and all connectors are also correct. The first thing, I noticed in your video that some of the wires coming from our 4-pin adapter had been disconnected. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with this. What we're going to go ahead and do to rewire these correctly is actually going to be to connect first the gray wire, and that's going to go down to the bottom pin inside this 4-pin connector. So we'll go ahead and slide that in. And next we have our shared common ground, which is actually going to be the pin the most to the right inside the little 4-pin connector. Next we have our low beam connector for the positive, which is noted by a yellow wire. It's going to go on the left of the 4-pin connectors. And finally we have our high beam positive wire, which is a white wire. It's going to be at the very top right here. So just go ahead and slide those pins in. And the 4 wire adapter is now connected. You can go ahead and slide this rubber grommet back in place, once that's been secured. For the purposes of this, we'll just leave this exposed. So that being the case, this part's all squared away, so we can you no longer have to focus on this. Now the next part is the actual bulb itself. Like, if you'll notice, your bulb should be secured like this with your wires coming out, and the housing should be right here. So the little grommet will be allowing the wires to exit the rear housing cap. The next thing we got to do right here is actually focus on the H7 connector. Make sure that this is connected, because this is actually going to ensure that the low beam is triggered when it needs to be. So what we're going to go ahead and do to ensure correct polarity is make sure that the yellow wire terminal goes to the red. So positive to positive, yellow and red, and black to brown, negative to negative. Connect them like so, making sure that the red goes to the yellow and the black goes to the brown, and that will ensure proper polarity at that connection. Now finally, our last connection is going to be to the actual ballast itself. Now this part is actually going to be hooked up rather simply. These two connectors can only connect one way, so go ahead and plug these in. No issues with polarity there. And this connector, this one actually can be connected 2 ways, but just to better show you how to connect it with the correct polarity, make sure that the red wire is towards the inner part of the ballast. So like so, and simply slide that into place. Now once that's connected, what we're going to go ahead and do is actually power the headlight from the low beam connector, which is the light gray connector. And as mentioned before, the yellow is going to be positive, brown is going to be negative. So we have a 12-volt power supply right here on hand to do this testing. And so we'll go ahead and simply hook up the alligator clamps to the pins. And as you'll notice, once we supply power, the low beam turns on. Now if you repeat the same process on the other headlight as well, the pin layout for the 4-pin will be the same exact pin layout, and all the connections will be the same as well. Now once you've been able to do this, essentially what we're asking you to do is just swap the ballast. Like, let's say if both headlights lit up, or if this headlight lit up and the other one didn't, we would ask you to essentially just take this ballast, disconnect it from right here, and put it on the other headlight, and then swap this ballast over to here, and then just report your findings to us to see if the issue stays on the same headlight or if it goes to a different headlight. This concludes the video documentation. Thank you so much and have a great day.